Shut up and sit down.
That's awesome.
It's where the big boys play. SICW.
All right, welcome to Square Root Podcast, everybody, episode 55. Today is a preview and sort of recap, but mostly preview for the March 2nd show coming up this Saturday with free TV taping on the Sunday. As always, we have the Texan, Jim Hoffarth, and Bobby D coming in. How's it going, guys?
All
Good,
right,
how you
so
doing?
it's this Saturday?
This coming
Yep.
Saturday, right? Yeah.
March 2nd.
No, it's funny. Yeah. So it's going to be a good show. Hey, before we start off getting into different subjects, Ole Anderson, one of the original Four Horsemen, just passed away today. So just want to say, shit, the Four Horsemen, it was like the best group going back in the 70s and 80s, probably more 80s. But yeah, so it's a shame. But then again, he's been out of the business for quite some time. I actually didn't know he was still alive, so that's how bad it all.
I just say you just said that, and I thought he had already passed away too.
Yeah. Because Arn Anderson's still kind of active in wrestling. He's got his podcast. He was just, I think he finished up with AEW, but you never hear about Ole Anderson, so I assumed, probably a lot of other people already assumed that he had passed away a while back. But nope, he just passed away today. So,
Well, that's I know it's a surprise to all of us because all of us thought he had already passed.
well, he back in the day, this is just hearsay, but he was one that was very hard to get along with. He was, besides being a horseman, I guess towards the end there, he was a booker / promoter, and he took the book for WCW, and some people didn't get along with him, because they were wanting to move in one direction. He was still stuck in the old school ways. Not even just old school ways like we are. It was a lot stricter back then, and but I still remember him as being one of the original Horsemen. And crazy note, I think we brought it up before, he was also Tugboat's voice in WCW when he did his whole Stormtrooper gimmick. Shockmaster.
The only time where that didn't apply is when he went through the wall and tripped himself.
Actually, I think you'd hear Ole Anderson laughing. Even though he was supposed to be portraying the guy who just tripped and fell through the wall.
Well, I'm sure that catches you off guard a little bit.
Yeah. We have that clip on our Facebook or our YouTube page, by the way.
Yeah, so, sad news, but, he had a good wrestling, career. He done everything in wrestling, and he was, like I said, he was part of the original Four Horsemen, so he was part of one of the most popular groups.
What was his age?
Oh, I didn't catch his age. Yeah, I don't know. I heard it in a chat group, and then I was like, let me check this out, and actually Google it myself just to make sure I wasn't going to come on here and throw in some crazy, he passed away, but he actually passed away 10 years ago type of thing.
81 years old.
81. Man, he's in the top 10% of wrestlers living that long. So,
well,
might be higher than 10%.
It's probably because you got out of wrestling. Earlier you can get out of wrestling, the better off you're going to be.
Oh, the other big part is he not only got out, but he stayed out, I'm guessing, because I never heard him going and doing anything.
Yeah. He used to own a promotion It was Georgia Championship Wrestling. A lot of people don't realize that, NWA territory. I can't think of the freaking guy's name. Never mind.
Yeah, he debuted your birth year.
What?
He debuted your birth year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 67.
67. Sometimes I feel that old, I tell you. But yeah, Georgia Championship Wrestling, I think, is the promotion that he owned. And it was like part of the NWA/WCW. Everyone thought Georgia Championship Wrestling was part of WCW, but it really wasn't. It was a separate entity. But I guess eventually it got bought up, just like everything else did. So how's everything else now that I started off with the downside of everything?
Well, our guest had a personal matter come up again. He's not having a good month.
That's true. If anyone didn't know, Danny Boy was supposed to be on last week, and we were going to touch up with him and Ron Powers and what they're thinking. But he had a funeral to attend last week that came up. So we had, Bull Bronson on, which I think was a great interview. And speaking of March the 2nd, he's going to be my tag team partner that night. So kind of psyched, looking forward to that. But so Danny was supposed to be on tonight too, and he reached out to me this morning, saying that he's really sorry, that he loves being on the podcast. So that wasn't it. It's just something personal came up again today that he wasn't able to join us. But he did say he was willing to come back on if we want to reschedule him. So, and I do want to reschedule him because I do want to kind of get the inside of what he's thinking, what Ron is thinking, because Gary Jackson had talked about getting the old band back together. So I'm assuming it's going to be Gary and Ron and Danny Boy and maybe another person or something like that. But the kind of
I don't know. Ron's pretty adamant about not getting back in that ring.
yeah, I mean, like the TV taping yesterday for SICW, it was kind of talking about how he didn't want to get back involved, but he's not liking what's going on with Stephen E. and them draping the flag over their opponents. So you can kind of see that the wheels are turning and that something might start or something might be happening.
As you just alluded to, the old band back together, and that flag they were draping on was talking about Gary's blood all over it. Yeah. Start messing with Ron's friends.
Yeah, right. And Danny Boy was just supposed to be a one-off special referee for for a match, and it turned into a couple other referee matches. And I'm not too sure if he's going to be there Saturday, but I won't doubt it if he does show up, because I didn't know he not this past Sunday, but the following Sunday, the previous Sunday. I was having a match with one of Stephen E's guys. That new German guy that he's got with him, the Uber Destroyer or something like that.
Destroyer.
And, I think pretty much had that match won. But then Attila came out. No, Attila didn't come out on that one.
Steven, huh?
I know
Stephen E.
Stephen E was out there. Bo, that's what it was. So Stephen E had given the Urban Destroyer something to put up in his mask, and Danny Boy ran out and told the referee, "Hey, I saw this. This isn't going to happen." Took it out of his mask, and kind of distracted the Urban Destroyer for a minute, so I can just line him up in the lariat, and that's how I ended up winning that match. But yeah, so. Danny Boy's, he's come to the shows. he's just not really liking Stephen E. and doesn't want Herb to sell to Stephen E. and doesn't want basically Stephen E. or Attila Khan to be even associated with SICW anymore. Which I don't blame him, because again, this Saturday it's going to be me and Bull Bronson versus Attila Khan and Sheik.
Well, you have Ayers and Kong.
Yeah, Peyton Ayers. So yeah, so it's going to be a good match. Speaking of Bull Bronson, having him on and seeing all the death matches that he's done, crazy stipulation matches, and he's going to bring that with him. So his daredevil style, being a 400-pounder, it's going to be crazy and see what we get ourselves into this Saturday. But
And in the future, we're going to have a whole podcast for death matches, and so Bobby can actually be there. And we'll talk about all the stories of Bull's death matches and your guys' match against each other. Considered a death match, wasn't it?
No, it was just a hardcore, fans bring the weapons match.
Yeah, but you did tags. You used weapons.
Yeah,
well, yeah.
So I mean, it was, I guess you could call it that. I don't know, Bobby. I don't know if you've seen the match with Bull Bronson that he had, where not him, but like it was like 4 people in that match, and the other 3 were actually sticking needles in the other guy's cheeks, syringes, and just sticking it right in there. And
sounds like a good time.
Bull said, "Not for me."
Right. I said, "You guys are crazy," and Bull goes, "Yo, you didn't see me do it."
Because we did play the Theater of Pain match that he did outside when there was no ring. And there's some things he walked away from that I would walk away from too.
Yeah, definitely different stuff. I always talked about doing that stuff when I was younger in the wrestling, because you wanted to get booked anywhere and as much often as you can, so you find yourself going into the stuff like that. But I also remember Bobby over there was one of those that wanted to do them.
I remember getting hung by the Texas Longhorns. So.
Yep. But yeah, he wanted those matches, and we're like, "You're crazy."
I still do.
Ooh, a future death match between you and Bull at SICW in the future? Probably not. Herb will go for that.
Not.
They're gonna have to look for that somewhere else.
You're right.
But speaking of Herb and SICW, they have a way of grabbing you by the gonads and pulling you back in no longer how long you've been out. So Ron can protest all he wants, but sounds like he's already in the tractor beam coming and sucked back in.
So that's the
If
thing.
he could put a stop to the Devastation Incorporated and the Dogtown Underground, I'm all for it.
And that's the thing with wrestling.
If he wants to punch me in the mouth too, I'm good there too.
But so wrestlers can retire all they want, but it's still in their blood. There's very few that actually leave the business and leave it. We talk about Ole being one of them, but Ron has retired so many times, and he still gets that itch and comes back. I should have retired, but I came back. So it's crazy stuff. So yeah, I figure if he keeps coming around, he's going to want to get in there. I mean, I think he pretty much does now, but he hasn't committed to it. But I think if he's, if they drag him in to start doing commentary again for, the next, Sunday's show or even this Saturday's live event, I won't doubt it that you'll see Ron back in the ring at some point.
I'm sure he at least wants to punch someone in the mouth by now.
So, Jim, you're part of the co-main event. Bobby, who you wrestling on Saturday?
It was just announced last night or this morning, it will be me and the volatile Curtis Wild going against Team A.
And that would be Sean Vincent and Mr. Glenn Williams. So.
That's the two unimportant guys. I know. In all honesty, I am excited to get my hands back on Vincent because he is the reason I lost my title. So I don't get my, even though I technically won my rematch last month by disqualification, I don't get my rematch because he's going against Lou Gotti. But at least I get a little bit of revenge on who cost me in the first place.
Right. Now, yeah. So Steven Fender, the current title holder of Bobby's previous own title, the Central States. He's going against. What did you say his name was? Bugatti.
The Don Father, Lou Gotti.
Lou Gotti. So he's the AIWF national
heavyweight champion.
Yeah. So Greg Anthony being the world champion, this gentleman is the national champion, and going against our Central States, even though it is Steve Fender, he's still representing. So it would be nice, I would think, if Steve could win, get that national belt into our locker room at least, and then even Bobby can fight for that championship as well. So it'd be kind of interesting, to have that championship belt in the locker room. Especially since I know Steve has got other opportunities in World League Wrestling, Harley Race's group. I don't know if you've seen the card that they posted, but it's literally the NWA versus WLW. Every title that the NWA has is being defended on WLW's card, and Steve Fender is going to go against EC3 for the NWA championship. So Steve Fender is unfortunately the guy right now. He's got ample opportunities. It all depends if he can seal the deal and win these titles. Because I would love to have the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in our locker room as well.
Nice for Steve Fender, but
crazy.
Us as a podcast, we have our pride, and we need that belt back.
Yeah, otherwise we're gonna have to throw Nate in the ring at some point and see what title he can get.
I'll get the Jimmy Hart. I'll get the Jimmy Hart under the mat title.
Maybe we can throw him in the Bruiser Brody Battle Royal, and if you can't three-peat it, maybe Nate can actually get it. It'd be like one of those things where he magically gets entered, but he doesn't go into the ropes until the last second to last person gets tossed over. Then he can slide in and toss that guy over, and then.
Sorry, Nate. I'd have to eliminate you too.
Oh, yes.
I can't get.
No, I may be half your weight, but I'm pretty strong. I can hold on to that rope pretty good.
He's
what you're saying is pick you up farther away from the rope. Got it.
Yep. I bet you could throw me from mid-ring out of the rope, but that's a disqualification, though. You can't go over the rope from the mid-ring.
There's the Battle Royal, it's not.
Yep, Battle Royal is the only one that is the exception, because that's how you win it, is by tossing the person over.
Stipulations for the half the size guy here. I don't think I can put on 200 pounds by mid-May.
It's a couple months away. You might be able to, it'll give you all the reason to eat ice cream and pizza and everything like that every day. I mean, you might go on shock or something. What is that?
Diabetic shock or something. When I don't have diabetes.
Well, you will.
Yeah, I will after that. Going to Barnes Jewish and my dog will stare at me and going, "Okay, you're gonna die in May."
No, I'll lose all the weight after I win the Battle Royal.
Yeah, laid up in the hospital room from being thrown over the ropes into the crowd.
I really don't know any other matches except for our three. I do know they posted that the Top Guns will be in the house. I don't, there are new tag champions, so I don't know who the unlucky souls that they're going to go against, but it was confirmed that they're going to be there.
And I'm going to have their mixed, the action and static cam shots done in a week, so we'll be able to post for those of you who want to watch it in our new camera format with an action and static cams.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, is he going to take off this Saturday too to come in and do that again, or?
Yeah, he's already off.
All right, so I just wanted to make sure.
More so than he's off already.
Another match here. We have our American, the Gary Night Train Jackson versus the Russian Lion, Viktor Petrov.
Oh, I forgot they announced that one. Yes, that's gonna be.
Petrov.
That's. I mean, this is a new guy. We really don't know anything about him, but yeah, this will be his debut. I think he came from the southern states. I don't know if it was from the Arkansas organization, Mid States Wrestling, or where. But that's the thing with SICW. It seems that more and more people want to get involved in this place.
So we got a Russian, we got a German Uber destroyer, we got wherever the hell Attila's from.
Well,
Changes every week.
I was talking to Brandon Beretta today, and like on Instagram, he posted pictures of him and Joe with the new SICW titles, and the current NWA Tag Team Champions shot him a message and left a comment saying, we would love to get a shot at your SICW titles if you're not too scared to make the match. When we were talking, I said, we got a lot of NWA guys coming in May. Tim Storm, a former NWA heavyweight champion, and a couple of the current roster from NWA. I was like, well, you might ask Herb, see if you can't accept this challenge from the NWA tag champions.
I'm wondering how much of our collective antagonizing efforts is helping bring these people in, because we've been doing this for a year, trying to get them to get pissed enough to come wrestle you guys. Wonder how much of it they're actually listening to now.
Well,
it doesn't hurt to keep doing it.
Right, it doesn't. The NWA is trying to make territories, and we talked about this again before.
Yeah.
That they're trying to, get these promotions that are hotbeds for wrestling and actually convert them into a territory for them. So, I mean, it just makes sense that just kicked my damn camera. It makes sense that that's what they're shooting for with WLW, because they're like around the Missouri, Kansas border. Picked them up, and of course, SICW has been around for 51 years. Pick us up on the Illinois side. They already got a whole Ohio, and I think there's another organization too that they picked up. So you never know.
Well, we should reach out to the NWA tag team, see if they want to come on and throw down the gauntlet.
Yeah. I think
if they're not too scared, they might be too scared.
Well, that's true, and they are actually defending their belts too in WLW. So you never
they might
know
not
if they're
even
gonna.
have it.
Yeah, they might not even have it. So it should be interesting. But yeah, so you got WLW's having a great card. We're gonna have a great card Saturday, which is only gonna lead up to our May 2nd show. I'm not May 2nd. May 17th and May 18th show. The one-man show that Friday night. And
Bill
then,
Abner.
Yeah, the Bill Abner one-man show. And did you see the little skit that he did? It's been on Facebook the last couple days where he...
I couldn't see him, though.
you couldn't see him?
No, not till I took that mask off.
He was wearing a John Cena mask. And, it even stumped the wife for a second there. She goes, is that John Cena? And then he took the mask off and it was Bill Apter. But yeah, so he's doing that Friday night one-man show, which a lot of the legends are going to be coming in town Friday. So be surprised if they're in the audience or they become part of the show. And then, yeah, there you go. So he was just announced today.
Loverboy Dennis.
Dennis Connery. So
Yep.
that's awesome tag team. Of course, his tag team partner, Beautiful Bobby, passed away not too long ago. And then we got the One Man Gang, or Hakeem, depending on where you remember him from. I remember both those characters. You know, the One Man Gang actually came from WCCW. He was doing that down with the Von Erichs before he moved up to WWF and did it there. And then just that role reversal where he becomes Hakeem, that was just crazy. There's clips out there that they went on a Centennial Hall, him and his manager Slick, and their Centennial Hall was like, "You're from Africa," you know?
South Africa's like 90% white, so it still could be.
Yeah. But you know, I still remember him being that big guy who can. I wouldn't say they were great dance moves, but they were dance moves nonetheless. But
Well, he moved.
yeah,
Now,
right.
are those the same dance moves that Ashley used to describe you doing? Did he inspire you?
No, I'm much better than he is.
Oh, okay. Okay, just checking.
I don't remember what dance move she's talking about. This white boy don't dance.
Remember, she talked
You-
about, like, some rolling in the car, just one of these numbers, a couple of them other little ones.
Mm-hmm.
Your shoulder got 2 inches higher than a key.
Thanks.
I don't know. He called you old, and now the dancing king.
Oh, saying I was born
Dancing's a
in
compliment.
'67.
That's moves.
I think me and Bobby's going to have another fans bring the weapons matches. Yeah.
Put that title on the line.
Yeah, no title, just for fun. I don't know, but if Herb wanted me to get in the ring, I would in a year.
In a year?
That's when my treatment's up. Otherwise, I would bruise way too easy.
Just think, you would make your opponent look great, though.
Yeah, Bobby would grab me by the arm, get ready to toss me up in the air, and then it would start just turning black on the way down.
I gotta say, in Arkansas last weekend, I wrestled a kid and he instantly bruised up when I chopped him. It was stretches like all down him. It's like, whoo.
Oh, I was editing your guys' your action scenes with the static camera, and one of the good things Jacob, our action camera, for those who are watching, did was he got really good close-ups of right after you chopped and you got chapped, and you could see just the welts raising and instant red. And well, you hit too hard to bruise because it just goes straight into blood blisters. But I have those, and I focus in on that because I'm sadistic. So
Like it.
who did you wrestle in Arkansas?
Something yen. There's a kid from down in Oklahoma came up. And I keep saying kid because I found out afterwards he was 17.
Oh,
But
I don't think that's not illegal in Arkansas.
I say there's a lot of countries whose states commissions wouldn't allow it, but it is fine there. That's what I heard, that he just kind of gets a booking wherever he can. But the kid can move. Like, he was very smooth and flowing in there and surprised me a couple times.
Yeah, I know that's not allowed in Missouri, but those Arkansas people, they do some weird things. So
That was my failed joke.
My dad lives in Arkansas right now.
And
See?
that proves my
Proof
no.
positive.
The question would be, does any of your other kin live down there with him?
No.
So that was for Mid-States Wrestling. How was that organization?
Very good. Like, it's a high production. Like, you have camera crews, ring crews. I was impressed with the referee has an earpiece and they can radio to him anytime during the match. And, like, it was a very upscale, like technology wise, upscaled event. And then the arena itself was pretty cool and like it was packed. I was my first time in front of that crowd. It was also that kid's first time in front of that crowd. They were in it the whole time. Like, we're not ever seeing either one of us before. I was pretty impressed with the crowd reaction.
Nice. Yeah.
I thought you wrestled for Mid-States before, Bobby.
We had talked about it, but with my kids wrestling and stuff, it just never worked out. Like, because like with my kids wrestling, like I got home, I left the show early after my match, got home at 2 a.m, and then was in Alton about an hour away at 10 a.m. for my kids wrestling. And I missed like some of the other kids I coached first matches. We had other coaches there. They weren't just left hanging, but missed some of the morning sessions just so I could sleep a little bit.
Yeah, I wrestled down there. Was it early last year or the year before? And yeah, I got to say it's a top notch place. The locker room, what it is it's got to be like an old school or an old because it's like
We were at the fairgrounds.
oh okay.
I say we had 2 separate entire buildings from the locker room to the show.
Of course,
Yeah,
they're
so
bringing in Bobby.
that was the same building then. So yeah, it's kind of weird. So you have this one building that's huge, and they use that for the locker room. So plenty of space. If you don't get along with someone, you can just move on down the road. And then they have this walkway that walks to the next building where the actual show is. Um, and as soon as you open the door to that building, you're in the backstage area. So it's a lot of stuff is going on. The refs getting assigned. The production team is in there, making sure the TV, because it's all recorded for TV. So you got a lot of stuff going on, and then you walk out through the curtain, and there's the ring, and yeah, it seems like they draw a lot of people every time. So they put on a good show.
Now, one thing they did catch me off guard with, which I'm hoping to get a little bit more training here on April 27th, 28th with Haku, is they wanted me to cut an impromptu promo. That did not go so well. It's like I couldn't remember the Mid-States name. I was blinking in front of the camera and couldn't remember my opponent's name. It's like, Herb standing on the other side. He joked around one time. He's like, "Get it right, or I'm going to fire you."
You're like Kevin Von Erich trying to do his promos for WCCW.
Yeah.
I blame it on the car lag from the 4.5 hour drive there.
4.5 hours.
Yeah, so since you brought that up, they actually announced the dates for the Haku seminar.
Mm-hmm.
It's in April. Was it? It's like in the later part of the month.
27th and 28th.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's the end of the month.
Yeah, so I mean
April
that's
27th, 28th, 150 lunch provided by Layla's Roadhouse.
yeah. So it's a 2-day seminar. They really want people that's already been in some sort of training. They don't want it to be for beginners because Haku actually wants to get in the ring with everyone and have actually a one-on-one time. But yeah, so it's 2 days. It's $150 for both days. I mean, it's $150 and you get both days with it. And then your lunch is provided, so that's free. It's a very cool place that's doing the lunch. It's Layla's Roadhouse, so I don't know if it's probably going to be pizza and wings or something like that, but it's definitely like that bar type of atmosphere. But but yeah, so it's going to be really cool, and they're going to limit it to like 24 people. So if anyone wants to get in on that and wants to be, hopefully you're already in the business, because again, they don't want to do like rookies. So someone who's already been trained. If you want to go to sicw.org, they're selling the tickets there, or come to any of the shows, and Herb will take your money from you right there and sign you up.
And you will get a certification if you complete it.
This is Haku's first ever time holding a seminar too. Could be his last. Like, it's a pretty big deal.
I don't think it's going to be his last, because he's been asked many a times, and this is the first time that he's actually decided to go ahead and do one. And if it goes well, he wants to do more. This is what he wants to do to get back to the business. Because you figure $150, man, that's really cheap. Sometimes a person will charge that for just one day.
Yeah,
and
so that's
throwing
2
in
full days.
2 full days, and the company's paying for the lunches. So that's 24 people, because they're trying to do 24 or 25. I can't remember.
25
25.
So, they're going to supply lunch for those guys. They're probably, of course, they're going to supply Faku, and then the extra trainers that are going to be there. So it's definitely, and he wants to do it with the A students too. So most of the A students are going to be there.
You should be there too as a trainer, because you're one of the head trainers for Ace Academy.
Yes, I'm going to be there as well. Unfortunately, the Canadian Zero will be there as well too. But the good thing is that if he says anything or does anything or gets out of line, you got Haku there. They'll just put the tongue and death grip in, and tap the little fella out. So.
At least somebody else can be a little fella too.
Yeah.
And
So
just for the hell of it, here's Bobby's opponent on the 2nd.
No,
Not mine.
is
Gary
Jackson's opponent.
That's Gary's opponent? I thought you were going against the Russian.
I am going against Team A, teaming up with the volatile Curtis Wild.
No wonder, because it's the Canadians. That's why I forgot.
Yeah, same thing. Canadians, Russians. It's all the same, right?
They're all violent people.
Okay, this is Gary Jackson's opponent.
Yeah, so it should be interesting to see what this guy can do, because he came out and did a little promo, a little speech about how he's wanting to come in and take on everyone, but Herb threw him the veteran. Gary Jackson's been around forever. He's got the vampire blood in him, so he's only 29, and he's probably going to wipe the floor with this kid. So we'll see how that goes.
I don't know. You need to get a little Russian tattoo right there for your lariat, putting him down.
I don't know if you want a permanent, maybe just like a temporary tattoo.
Maybe just a bullseye. Just get a tattoo of a bullseye, so I can just.
I don't know, he's a little out of date though. He's about 30 years too late for that flag and shirt. So.
I'm sure there's still people that believe in the system.
I don't think he was born before that system failed.
It doesn't mean he wasn't indoctrinated into it.
That's true. He can be a Putineer.
There you go. Gosh. I don't even want to get into that political field. I know last time when Searcher was on, we kind of went very left. So I think we'll just stick to the wrestling tonight.
And I wasn't ready for it, so I said absolutely nothing that whole time.
Well, I had a few comments come back to me to be like, you guys kind of got a little way off on subject on that interview. Yep, yep, yep. Searcher popped in a few things, and then I tagged along, and we went way off the subject.
What did Herb let you know? Hey, you guys, we deviated too much or something?
No, it wasn't Herb. Herb actually liked Searchers, but both times because we had him on twice.
Yep.
And him and Herb get along fine.
Hopefully a third time, but we kind of triggered him last episode, so you never know.
Well, I seen that on YouTube, that little splice you did of his trigger warning going off. He went off pretty well.
Yeah, I think after that he was in a bad mood for the rest of the episode, though.
I try not to talk politics. Most people can't have an adult conversation without getting angry.
Oh, we can, but
Most can't.
it's a good way to get some participation in the comments without people being.
We also got Debbie Valiant and Bill the Butcher coming.
Yeah, I mean that.
I'm scrolling through Herb's Facebook. It's always a good source for knowledge. Anyone who doesn't follow Herb Simmons.
Hey, there was I got a phone call today and asked me about a particular wrestler that they are thinking about bringing in for the Fan Fest, and I won't mention names because I hate for it to get out there, but he was recently released from the WWE, and he's been on a roll, especially in the Japan area. So I'll just drop subtle hints.
The one that always winks at us but never replies because he's too scared.
No, not him. This guy was also in the fighting world as well. I'll just drop that as another hint.
Oh, okay. Yep, definitely not the other one. But you're still too scared. You're still too scared to even say anything to us. Winking isn't getting it done. We're not little girls.
But so they haven't even finished naming. I mean, they haven't topped off the list yet. They're still trying to get some more added in to secure those. Because these fan fests, they cost a lot, and you need some very big names. Not that those names that we have on the list already are not big. They are, but some of them have been around to a lot of the fan fests. So they're trying to get people with big names that just recently got on the market, that are not contracted to a Legends contract with a promotion. And it hasn't gone out to a lot of fan fests yet to, try to get those. Oh my God, this is like the first time he's able to sign for people, get more of the legends like that, or I won't even say legends because this one's a current. But I don't want to say his name until it gets certified, and it was just brought out to it.
Was it Dan Severn? Because he's already been confirmed, I thought.
Who?
Yeah,
Dan Severn.
Been confirmed.
No, Dan Severn's already been confirmed.
The fighting world in Japan, he made a huge impact over there.
Yeah, I'm
but
saying
not recently.
Yes, this gentleman has recently made a huge impact over there, and just recently was released from the WWE. So hopefully, we get him on a contract for the Fan Fest, because I think it would add a lot of people's intrigue in going.
Does he have a lot of the same habits as Enzo?
We
got it. Telling you.
That's probably too much of a hint.
Well, it all depends.
I haven't been told anything. I'm just making my own guesses over here.
Good guess.
I don't. Well, see, a lot of people don't even know what Bobby could be talking about, because Enzo isn't really outspoken about that, and us in the inner circle know.
Talking about his hairstylist.
Oh yeah, it's hairstyles. Okay. But yeah, so they, Herb and everyone hasn't capped off the list yet. So I'll just say that, and he's saving. I'm sure it's going to be out there in the next couple of weeks because you really don't want to, stall the big names too much before you get close to the show because you want people
No,
to
you want people to prepare and book flights and
right and get those tickets and everything else for it's 2 days and a hotel I know is again packed.
Yeah,
Um,
it's filling up fast. People from Great Britain are coming out. I know just from some of the ones on Instagram that follow us and we follow, they're coming out for it. So.
yeah, so it's going to be a great night. Um, I can't wait to see a lot of a lot of people we call friends now. I just had this conversation with another wrestler, actually, in front of all my students at ACE, because I've told them that a lot of wrestlers, even if they're legends, even if they've been in the business 30 years, once they find out that you're a person in this business, they put you at the same level as them. A lot of wrestlers do. Now, I'm not saying someone like The Rock or Stone Cold, but a lot of wrestlers believe in kind of like a brotherhood that if you're a wrestler, you're brothers with me. And they'll put you at the same level as respect. Of course, that respect has got to go back and forth. And like Herb, he loves to bring in the same guys a lot because they're friends. So like Greg Gagne and Jimmy Hart. They're personal friends, so he loves to bring them in, and then they become friends with us because we hang out with them every time they come in, and then we carry conversations with them, and we break bread and go to breakfast or dinner with them, and then we become friends. And this was what I was trying to explain to the ACE students. Just because you're not at the same level as they are, once a lot of them, once they realize you're in the business, they bring you into their fold, and they'll treat you just like their brother, which is awesome. Just like me and Bobby had when we went to Vegas with Haku. We went to breakfast with him and just sat around and listened to Haku tell stories about how he got in the business. And I tell you, that is one person who needs to write a book about his experience, because
without a doubt unique.
yes, he was. I'm going to butcher the island, so I'm not even going to say the islands that he came from. But then he got, flown over to Japan to become a sumo wrestler, and then from a sumo wrestler, Harley Race kept going over to Japan, and a lot of other wrestlers like the Funks, and they said, you'll be great to do like American style wrestling if you ever made it to the States. So his family from Japan, not his real family, but the people like it's
The
like
random
foreign
sumo house.
exchange, so they take a Japanese family will take you in while you're in training, and then they become like your sub family. Um, his sub family gathered together some money so he can go to the States, but something happened like on the airplane or in the airport. But when he
I thought
landed,
it was like the subway after he landed.
well, when he landed, he realized he didn't have that money no more. So either he dropped it, lost it, someone pickpocketed him, but so he landed in the United States with zero money. You hear a lot of times, foreigners come over and, to make a living, but they come with, what was in their pockets to help them get started. Well, he came over with nothing. um, and, he met up with Harley Race and he sent him to the Funks. So Haku lived with the Funks for a while. So right off the bat, dealing with Harley Race and dealing with the Funks when you first come over to the U.S., that's crazy in its own. I mean, that's probably chapters and chapters that could be done in this book. And then shoot, his rise into all the big threes. He was in the NWA, he was in WCW, he was in WWF/WWE. You know, he's got twin sons now. I think they're twins that are currently wrestling right now. And he was managing them over in Japan. I don't know where they are now, but I know he was kind of hoping they would sign with the AEW by now or something. But so I mean, he's had a hell of a life. Plus all the side stories that you hear about getting into bar fights and popping people's eyes out of their socket, or biting their noses off. It's those weird stories that you like. Oh yeah, I ain't gonna mess with him. But that's why you need to get trained by him in April.
Yep.
Yeah,
What else you guys got?
I was looking up his three sons' names: Alpate, Rafita, Peculio, and Tangaloa.
I didn't, look at, when The Rock came out with Roman Reigns and they threw that family tree up on the screen. I didn't search through that family tree, but Haku's name should be up there because I know he's part of that whole family. So his sons should be up there too. And they're talking about some of the Fatus and everything might be up, coming into WrestleMania, to get involved in this whole match situation they've got going on.
Well, and The Rock did come out and say that Cody Rhodes storyline would end at WrestleMania. So
yeah, but how?
he didn't
Whether
say.
it be him winning the belt, not winning the belt, being interfered with by The Rock or by one of the Usos, or I already forgot the other guy.
I thought this was the case, but I just did the quick Google. Haku does not have any blood with The Rock, but basically their families have just been intertwined and intermeshed so much that The Rock calls him uncle. Like, I know Haku gave The Rock his tryout trunks for WWE. Like, because they gave him a call up, and he's like, I got nothing. He's like, here's these purple ones I've never worn before.
Well, you would also see that The Rock just bought Haku a pickup truck a few years ago. And that was a thanks for helping him out when he first started. The Rock has got so much money that he can do whatever he wants with, but he's still giving back to the people that brought him up. Yeah, so it's kind of that whole island family, man, is big and out there. So it's kind of crazy. I'm kind of shocked that there was no blood though, because I swear there was blood mixed in with that family.
Well, that's what I'm talking to him before. He said island family. He is not from Samoa. It is Tonga. It's a completely different island and area, and it is very upsetting to them and disrespectful if you call them Samoan.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, I know a few Tongans from my past.
Do not
Same
call them
way.
Samoan.
Well, Barbarian is a Tonga as well. So
Yeah, they both won that competition that sent them over to the sumo wrestling thing. I think it was like the top 5 went, and they were in there.
all I know is Haku has been great to me and Bobby. I'll even throw Bobby in there. Man, he is. I'm sure he's tamed down from his younger years and popping people's eyes out of socket because he is very, very friendly, especially since he knows we're in the business, and he's spoken to us and hung around us many a times now. So it's great to have him in for both things. He's going to be in April for the seminar. He's going to be in May for the Fan Fest.
And if you want to be intimidated before you meet him, just go to YouTube and search Haku stories.
Oh.
That's enough said right there. You'll go down a rabbit hole that you'll be like, holy shit.
There's going to
he
be a
would
lot
have
of.
to have been calmed down because I stomped his foot by accident. What last May? All he did was laugh and say, "Don't worry about it."
He said, little man.
They
He's like
pat you on your head.
toothpick.
Man, there's a lot of tough guys going to be at this Mayfest. Stan Hansen's going to be there. Abdul the Butcher's going to be there. Greg the Hammer Valentine's going to be there. A lot of people don't say that he's a big tough guy, but man, he's a big tough guy. Even if you talk to other wrestlers, they talked about Greg being a wrestler's wrestler. He didn't believe in the all fictional style of wrestling. He wanted you to believe in his wrestling.
So you like to show all your figures and stuff you get, and you said Greg the Hammer Valentine. I just got this in my wrestling crate. It's my Greg the Hammer time. What do they call these little things? Little brawlers. I'm gonna have to have them sign.
There
That's
you
awesome.
go. Man, I did bring out 3 wrestlers that recently just got. But I tell you, I also got something in the mail that was kind of cool. Back when the LJN figures came out, they had a poster in their package as well. Well, I bought like 15 posters of someone's collection, and it's Hulk Hogan and it's Bob Orton Jr. Just a lot of the figures. And I had Bob. I brought it at the training one day, and I said, Bob, I bought your poster off of eBay. I said, could you autograph that for me? And he had fun just looking through the posters of all the friends of his. Hillbilly Jim and Paul Orndorff, and of course he signed mine for me. And there's gonna be a couple that like Jimmy Hart. I got his, so I'm gonna have him sign his.
But that wrestler, that figure looked like that was the Baron.
It's not.
Who
This
is
is
it?
George the Animal Steel, and literally I just got him today. Now I originally had him when I first had this collection, but we all know the story that I sold them all, and now I'm trying to recollect them. So I just got this one in the mail today, and it was so cool because I guess the guy researched me because on eBay I have my name as Jim Hoffarth. But on the package that got delivered today was Jim the Big Texan Hoffarth. So I guess he must have looked me up on Facebook or something and wrote that all out. And I was like, well, thank you.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, I got Mean Gene at the flea market this past time around, which is very hard to find these at a flea market now. I search for them all the time, but you can hardly find these. But this guy is mint. He doesn't have any smudges or anything like that. And I got him actually. It was a guy selling baseball cards, and then he just had this one figure. And then here's my eBay exclusive. The LJNs, the last line, the last series, they called them the black cards because the backing, when they first came out, they were blue, but the last series wasn't technically an LJN because they sold the rights to another toy company. And
Hasbro. Isn't that what you said last time?
no, that was the Sergeant Slaughter that came
Uh-huh.
out. The only one that came out in Hasbro. But this was a Canadian toy company, and so they did. I think it was like the last 6 or 7 wrestlers, and he was one of them. So it's kind of hard to get him in the States. A lot of times, this is Coco Beware. Now he does come with Frankie. The guy didn't have Frankie, um, but so it's like Haku. His figure is in that last line, and you can't buy his figure for less than $1,000, especially if you want it in the package. That's like $2,500, and then you can't get it for under $100 with all smudges and everything like that. But it's him. It's Harley Race. It's one of the members from Demolition. Um, I'm trying to remember all. Ravishing Rick Rude, Ultimate Warrior. Those were like the last section of the LJNs, and they are extremely valuable. Whether you buy them in the package or not in the package, tell me you're going to spend a lot of money. And then they have two extra Hogans. One of them's with a white shirt, one of them's with a red shirt. I don't think those are the Canadian exclusives. I think those were the mail away ones. So they are very rare and very expensive to get. And then Miss Elizabeth, I got Miss Elizabeth already, but she was hard to get because a lot of kids at that time, wanted the male wrestlers as their action figures. They didn't want to buy a girl. Even though she was Miss Elizabeth and Macho Man's, wife at the time. So there wasn't a lot of stock in Miss Elizabeth. So she's a hard one to get, but it's crazy. So I got those. I got the posters. I actually got this one cool thing that's coming in eBay, and once I get it, I'll show it on here. Sam Mushnick, the owner of Wrestling at the Chase, he had they would be stock that you can buy into the company, and it wasn't called Wrestling at the Chase. It's a shame that I can't remember the name, but I always bring it back to Too Many Chair Shots. But it was a club in St. Louis, and it wasn't the St. Louis Wrestling Club, but it was Sam Mushnick's personal business for the wrestling. And Larry Matisek, of course, was in that. And what they produced was Wrestling at the Chase. But I'm talking about the actual business name. You can buy shares of it. And someone on eBay was actually selling an old share of their business. And on this share, it has Sam Mushnick's autograph and Larry Matisek's autograph. So I'm actually buying that, and it's going to be delivered here pretty soon. So it might have been
Herb might take that from you.
It might have been called the St. Louis Wrestling Club. But I got so much information in my head and so fucking scatterbrained. But yeah, so I got that coming off of eBay, and I think I'm gonna get that framed, just to have Sam Mushnick's autograph, and Larry's too. Larry was a great friend of mine. I looked up to Larry. I always told Larry and Herb that they remind me of my father. When my father passed, I kind of looked up to them.
And you were right; it was the St. Louis Wrestling Club.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. I got that coming in the mail, and I'm gonna hang that up. Yeah, every now and then I'll get on eBay and I'll just search Wrestling at the Chase or St. Louis Wrestling, just because they had so many neat things. And like before it was Wrestling at the Chase, it was another wrestling program that was ran by Sam Mushnick. And here in Illinois, it was promoted by Stag Brewery. So Stag had posters of Stag and the name of this wrestling company. And of course, Belleville is like the home of Stag. It was originally produced in Belleville. And so I assumed that someone in the Belleville area has got to have, but then again, we're talking 1950s, 53, 54. But there's got to be some sort of promotional stuff for this. And I've searched and searched, and I can't find any of it. And even at the Belleville Fairgrounds, there's a room that's called the Cave, or it might be called the Man Cave, but it's just full of everything Stag. And I was talking to the owner one day, and I said, "Hey, do you have anything that shows St. Louis wrestling and Stag joint in a poster or something, and he doesn't. He didn't even know they were joined at one time. Now Herb has got something cool that's got Stag and AWA wrestling, and that's actually Vern Gagne. It's like a poster of him demonstrating so many holds, and then it was Stag was the main promoter or something for those posters or whatever you want to call it. But so that's kind of cool. But I'm always looking for the old oddity things that no one thinks about. I got a lot of magazines from the 50s, that says on the top cover, where it'll be a nickel or a dime for these magazines back in the day. I love those. But yeah, I totally collect everything. Anything that deals with wrestling, mainly old wrestling though. Unless I can get it on clearance at like Target or Walmart, then I'll throw it in the cart, But I know Bobby collects things. You said you get a box every month?
Yeah, it's these pro wrestling crates. It's like every other month though, where it's got an autograph picture, like a remade poster, a pin, a patch, a sticker. I've
Now,
only got my second one in now.
is that strictly for WWE? Because I know
No,
AEW has.
like there's a coffin drop patch there from Darby Allin, and I don't even know what this is. Some brawler balls thing. It's Randy Savage though. That's what this one's from.
That's cool.
And then the posters are all different things. I got in the first one an autographed Just Incredible picture. This one, I don't remember who it was. But then here's a poster they did with Brody Lee and Moxley. Just different random stuff every month. I got a D'Lo Brown shirt and one today.
Oh wow! Now, so
I get a
where
shirt
did you?
and
How did you
an
get that
autograph.
started?
What's that?
How did you get that started?
I kept seeing it advertised on Facebook. I was like, let's try it.
Oh, okay. Because I know AEW has their own version of it, and they have it in like tier systems. It could be like a $20 box or a $30 box or a $50 box. So it's kind of cool. Especially if you don't care what you get, you just get some items that are like really cool, and especially Justin Incredible. I mean, that's
I believe that's the one in this box right here. Let's see. But yeah, like there's AEW, there's old WWF, there's ECW with Just Incredible. Like it's got everything. Yeah, and like all the autographs come in this packaging. Yeah, there's the Just Incredible one.
yeah. A lot of people don't know that he was
It's
part of
got
the
like
Click.
they all have that certified sticker logo thingy on it.
A lot of people don't know that he was a member of the Click. When it was Shawn Michaels and Nash and Hall and Triple H, Sean Waltman, and it was also him. But he couldn't get a character over in the WWF, so he eventually got fired and let go. And I
Him
guess
and
he
Lance
was.
Storm, like always phenomenal with their matches and everything, but just their characters were never quite there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and as far as Sam goes, it says that St. Louis Wrestling Club was the first organization he did, but he was with what's his name, Tom Pax, for 9 years under him as a promoter, but left because Pax only gave him $200 on $14,000 made on the Joe Louis fight.
Yeah, yeah. So, and
That's
what.
the other autograph. Like, I'm not an AEW guy, so I can never remember this guy's name. I know I've seen him a few times.
What is his
It
name?
says, I don't know. It says Powerhouse on it.
Oh, okay. Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yeah, I think that's right. Like I said, I've seen him on TV a few times.
Yeah. Yeah, that PAX thing, I think, Sam eventually went on to help form or create the NWA. Yeah, the NWA, and Lou
In
Thez
1948.
had his own version of NWA. National, and then National Wrestling Alliance. And what was the other version? But so there's two versions, two world heavyweight champions. But what they didn't realize is Sam and Lou Thez actually had a friendship, and they were working the two promotions against each other. But even though they were friends and working with each other, um, it's one of those things back in the day. But then eventually, Thez dropped his version of the NWA and came on with Sam's version.
Yeah, they merged it in 1949, November 27th. National Wrestling Association merged with the National Wrestling Alliance.
There we go. It's the last part. That's right. Yeah, so I think it was cool to get that. And I'm going to get it framed and put it on the wall somewhere. My big thing is I need to get a room in this house that no animal can get into, or no granddaughter can get into, or something like that.
No, Bobby, what are you going to do with all your stuff? That room you're in, are you going to make that into your wrestling room? Isn't that already your game room?
I've thought about it. I got like a corner over here. I got like a desk that's taller than me. I thought about tearing the top off of and kind of framing stuff and putting it all over the walls.
So it's like 5 foot tall, because everybody watching, this man's like 4'2".
I said taller than me, not my same height.
But Bobby, you have you've had the Central States titles, so you should have a picture of that on the wall. The back-to-back trophy winner, Bruiser Brody trophy winner. Man, you should have. And I've seen the pictures from the mid states, and those pictures of you was pretty cool looking as they got you coming through the curtain and going into the ring and everything.
I'm hitting that lion tamer.
I need to get that picture. You can put that up on our
I'll send it to you.
Social media pages.
But a lot of my stuff that I got hanging up, I don't know if you can move you up here. Yeah, that shelf up there has got a bunch of unopened wrestling figures. I don't know if you can see that, but it's
it looks high enough to keep out of grandkids and cats.
Oh yeah, so those can't get touched. But then again, if something gets slammed around, because my personal action figure that someone had done up for me, I think I told you guys, was on top of. It's not a dresser, but it's a choreo cabinet, I think is what it's called.
Choreo cabinet. Yeah.
And it was on top, and I guess the front door got slammed too hard that it fell off, and then it became a dog treat. So.
Yeah, like a 3-story house. How did it jostle it that hard?
Well, he probably body slammed a couple of his kids on the floor and shook the walls.
And with all that stuff that high up and your advanced age, you can get up there without any problems, Jim?
Man, I hate you both tonight. Once called me old, and now I'm at an advanced stage of age. And
we're hacking on each other. There's no guest here, so we're just hacking on each other.
But man, I got a lot of stuff that I would love to have in the background, like the Bruiser Brody. I would love to get that thing framed and put on the wall and hung on the wall, right? Or like the Mayfest Part 1. That one, I like having that in the background, but that's actually just in my window.
I know I need to get this studio going because I have a year's worth of posters. I have our movie poster from when we went to the press junket for the Iron Claw. A lot of stuff I want to get up on this wall. And how'd you get the Bruiser Brody one? Did a fan, because that was supposed to be an auction for the fans.
Yeah, so the one cool thing, I'm normally the last one that leaves the building at the fairgrounds. And I tell you, I find some of the most cool stuff. I found money all the time. You walk through after all the fans leave, and there'll be a $5 bill or a $10 bill on the ground. Like, but that was actually left. It was left behind.
Bro, they
So I
left
don't.
a $150 poster behind because I think that's what it went for. No, it went close to 200.
Well, they auction them off pretty much anytime Nick has a spare one that he brings in. And yeah, that one got left behind. So I seen it. I was like, oop, mine. Some people buy wrestling shirts from other wrestlers. Um, like Joe Helms had stuffed like those wrestling buddies, but the smaller versions. One of those got left behind, so I don't know. It was in the seats, so I picked that up. So it's kind of cool.
Bobby and I are with you. I don't find anything. Do you find anything at that
I
Friday
never do.
night?
I'm usually trying to find a buzz after some of them matches. Get
Well,
beat up.
I I got some cool things that fans have given me too. The wife had the picture made of me holding the belt that I won for the first time, and that's on the wall. But then I had a fan. I think she's on Facebook or YouTube, one of the two, as the blue shirt girl. I don't know if that rings a bell with you guys.
Blue shirt
Um,
girl.
yeah, I think she's called the blue shirt girl, but she's, you know, um, the guy she comes with has a YouTube channel as well. Jorge.
All right. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
George
Because
So,
he
huh?
reached out to get some R footage, and I told him no because he was
Yeah.
going to post it right away.
But she made a canvas art that I got hanging up as well.
Nice.
So it's a bunch of cool stuff that I pick up here and there.
And for people listening, I didn't say no to be mean. It's because we have a contract that says we can't post what we film right away because of TV. So if somebody uses our footage and post it right away, that looks bad on us. And since we are a company, we can't have that.
Right. I mean,
Self-preservation, not to be mean.
plus all of our stuff gets copyrighted, so
It
you know
does.
we don't want other people. You have access to the one person, and then it opens up the floodgates. So you kind of want to control the narrative on that stuff.
Well, we had to do that, the copyright version, because of my disagreements with somebody that doesn't exist in a certain corporation anymore.
Hey, did you guys hear all the rumors that like Stephanie McMahon is her name is being dropped now in the whole Vince McMahon lawsuit?
I heard that, but I didn't listen to it just because as far as cover up goes, I could see it, but her planning stuff, I don't see that.
Well, no, it's not planning stuff. She was trying to cover up things for her dad.
Well, yeah, I could see that. It's a daughter's duty, but
Yeah, and that's why she left because she got tired of doing it. Because she thinks that her name would have been brought up, and it has, because that John Laurinaitis has already mentioned about the whole Ashley scenario. Um, I don't remember her last name. It begins with an M, but Malazio or something like that.
Yeah.
She was working for the WWE.
She was
Uh,
one of the Tough Enough winners, wasn't she?
yes, yes. And they went. It was one of the first times they went and did wrestling for the troops for their Christmas special.
oh,
And
that's that event.
yeah,
That's
well,
that's
she had
nasty of it.
Yeah, she was complaining about not feeling good, so she went to the doctor at the base, and that doctor drugged her up, and then supposedly him and another person raped her. And one of the higher ups from WWE went to follow up on if she was feeling okay, and found out all about it, and then covered it all up. And John Laurinaitis was one of them that found out about it and was told to help cover it up. And Stephanie was told about it, and she helped cover it up too. So now you're talking about, potentially covering up a rape charge.
Yeah, but because it happened overseas in a foreign country, it's nothing criminal can come of that.
But it
Unless,
can, because where we are stationed is always part of the United States.
I was going to say, unless they have an agreement, like in Kuwait or Iraq, that it's U.S. soil.
Right.
Because I know, like in Italy, the base is there. It's still Italian soil. They just lease the land. So Italian laws still apply. Yes, people, we are sick. That's why our voices keep cutting out.
Well, it's not. I've got this fucking headache that's, I don't know, just started after work, too. I mean, you kind of had it feeling like something was coming on, but then I come home, took like a 40-minute nap, and woke up with the most agonizing fucking headache. But anyway, and there's more like divas coming out from back then that are supposed to be coming out and then going to start telling their stories.
But didn't the three of us discuss this before, where that type of stuff was common and it was just a dirty secret? Kind
yeah.
of like a casting couch type of thing?
So I mean, a lot of it, was
Except for you
known,
got
but
paid higher than
not
the
known.
captain couch.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear about it. But you can't say 100% that it was true. Well, now those stories are coming out, and people are actually, because back then it was a man's club, um, and it was bad for girls and it was bad for men because there was a lot of stories about Pat Patterson. If you wanted to stay in the company and stay close to the main events, then you had to let Pat have his way with you.
You'd have a white party, is what it's called.
Sure, if you know what it's called, then more power to you, Nate.
Nate's been involved.
Um,
No.
but there was a referee, a girl referee, and a guy no, it was a guy announcer that tried to file charges, saying that he got fired because he wouldn't let one of the male higher ups do what he wanted to do. And then there was a female ref in the 80s that really no one knows about. But she was one of them that actually filed suit against Vince McMahon back then. And, he paid her off back then. So all this shit is going to start coming out in the open. You had the thing with John Cena on Howard Stern, and Howard asked him what he thought about McMahon. And he kind of said that the situation is very bad, but the Vince McMahon that he knows and cares about, he's still, not that he loves that particular Vince McMahon, but he is still fighting for that particular Vince McMahon. But everything that he's done or is finding out about, he says it's bad.
This is not where you can pick it. It's the same person. It's not a
Right,
split
right.
personality where he can go, oh, yeah, I love you, just not you. And it's a different person. It's the same disgusting.
Right.
Well, it
Vince
doesn't sound like he's
Vince
saying that
didn't hide
different
it.
people are saying that he didn't really know that other side.
Yeah, and true. But I don't know. Man, so much stuff it could be coming out here pretty soon. And what it is too is the WWE, once they found out about the NADs that he was having these people sign, the company stopped paying him. So it wasn't like Vince McMahon stopped paying him. The company found out about him and said no.
The
That's how this,
violation of the NDA.
yeah. So it's going to be interesting. I'm sure, some other people are going to get in trouble, because a lot of people are talking about the higher up in WWE right now, Richard. Man, his brother's going to be at the Fan Fest. Bruce Pritchard.
Oh, the Vince McMahon clone you're talking about.
Yeah, that he had to know, he had to have knowledge.
Of course he did. He participated in it, allegedly.
Well,
Did
it hasn't come out about him, just John Laurinaitis.
you say Bruce Pritchard's going to be at FanFest?
No, his brother is, Tom.
Tom Pritchard is.
Has that one been announced?
I'm pretty sure.
It's been announced.
Yep.
If not,
Well, I don't recall seeing that one.
Oh, if not, it is now.
yeah. If not, I just let that one go.
Although I do have a hypothetical for you both, since you guys are the St. Louis Brawlers. Do you think the coming controversy, even though they sold it to TKO, will be a springboard to get the cooperation to bring, I almost said tribal, to bring the territory back into existence to in some degree?
No.
You think it's too big to fail because of something like that?
Yeah, I don't think this affects WWE one bit. I think Vince McMahon gets dragged through the dirt and they say, we're not anything related to him anymore.
Correct. And that's why.
And that's the end of it.
And I think that's why, they forced John Laurinaitis out. And anyone who has connections, like if they find a connection with Bruce or Triple H, there's even rumors about Triple H knowing about some of it. So if they find and can connect the dots, those players will probably be out, but it won't affect the WWE. There's such a global empire right now that, and plus now that they got the UFC backing them as well, it's
They know how to run PR.
You're right.
There's been a lot of fighters that have done a lot of bad stuff, and UFC still at the top.
And that's why.
Well, they just say they just sell, oh, it's CTE from continual shot to the head, and everybody forgives it.
Whatever their excuse is, they fire those fighters, and they're still at the top.
Well,
it's all how you play the PR game.
That's why they're saying that the whole Rock right now is to distract everyone from talking about Vince McMahon.
Of course it is. That's why it happened all at the same time.
Right. So, they're pretty smart about things.
I mean, unfortunately for Cody and the rest of them, they're just chesses, pieces on the chessboard. Distract you over here.
Yeah.
I know they're going to, when they watch this, they're going to love it. They're going to hate us even more.
It's all hearsay until someone connects the dots and then, comes out.
This is all for entertainment purposes only, and everything we said was allegedly.
And
that's that TikTok BS, isn't it?
Yeah.
Say what you want as long as it's entertainment purposes only. Come on, you guys are TikTokers. I'm not, so.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, most of them say for educational purposes or for entertainment purposes only. Especially when they start talking about vitamins. Oh, here, take this vitamin. This is for not educational purposes only. Yeah.
That's not the TikToks I watch.
No, you watch that age-restricted TikTok.
I will say the TikToks that I get sent are deleted within an hour.
I'll send you some of the war stuff that I get sent to me all the time. I was watching some when Jim came on.
Yeah, he watches that all the time. It's people getting sniped, or bombed or whatever. Like, it's crazy.
I get it sent to me all the time just because I don't do it anymore, but I still have my foot in it. If you guys want to go fight in Ukraine, I can get you there in 2 weeks.
Oh, no, that's quite all right. Anyway, I think this is pretty much wrapping it up for us for this week. Because I think we're just dragging it on now. But let's just recap this Saturday at the Belclair Fairgrounds. Doors open at 6. Show starts at 7. We got
New tag team champions, the Top Guns, in action.
Top Guns in action. Bobby D is in action. I'll be in action with Bull Bronson versus Devastation Inc. We got the
Both of you in a
AIWF
both of
national
you in a
title on
tag
the
team.
line. So it's going to be a great show. And then if you come to that show on Sunday in East Carondelet, you can bring your ticket stub and come in for the free TV tapings. Now, also, just throw this out there. If you do not come in for the Saturday show, you can still come to Sunday's show, but you will have to purchase a ticket for the TV tapings. So just in case you can't make it to Saturday, you can still come on Sunday. Sunday, the TV tapings, there'll be 4 weeks of TV that you'll be there in the crowd for. So if you want to see yourself, plus Herb just announced that we're going to be on 4 different platforms now. I don't remember what they're called, but I know one is Smart TV, some sort of platform on Smart TV we're going to be on. There's like 4 total that he just signed contracts with that is going to be broadcasting SICW wrestling. I know we were on Roku. I think that is kind of fallen on the wayside. And I know we are on the TVs that you can see on the airplanes, but I think that too has kind of fallen. So we're kind of branching out to new areas to get the TV program out there. Besides being on Facebook and YouTube, there's other platforms that you can catch the show.
And if you live in the Middle East, you can catch our show in Arabic and Italian and Italy. But in case you guys are wondering, Dr. Tom Pritchard was announced February 8th, so we didn't let anything out.
Okay, it'll be on the following platforms: Smart TVs at Primetime, Local Now Sports TV, True TV Plus, and Carbon TV.
True TV is nice.
Yeah, I was going to say True TV, but True TV Plus, so that must be a new form of it. So that's cool. We're getting the programs out there. Herb has been doing this 51 years. I think he's wanting to have a blast this next couple of years. Hopefully,
like this collection that I got to mention this collection that he's been posting. I don't know if he's getting new stuff or it's just stuff he's gone through some boxes, like this Ed Strangler Lewis belt. This guy's he has to put a museum one day.
Yeah, so I mean, his goal is definitely to have a museum, whether it be in Illinois or in Missouri. The 2 belts that he got from the lady wrestler, I just happened to be over at his house later in that day. He got the boxes earlier, and what it was is another wrestling historian is selling off his collection. And so Herb is gathering up as much as he can, whether it be TVs, because he owns the Bruiser. It's not. I want to say Bruiser Brody, but it's not Bruiser Brody. I guess you would say
Dick Murdoch.
Dick Murdoch. Yeah, Dick the Bruiser. It's not Dick Murdoch. But anyway, the Bruisers TV collection, he owns that. Of course, he owns Wrestling at the Chase.
And if he owns it, so do we.
We can use it.
And we just posted one that's getting some traction, which is really good. So.
But so he's got so many plans. He really wants to put SICW out there and make us. The connection is already there with us and Wrestling at the Chase. But he wants to make it securely there, like for generations to come, that they can find out about wrestling at the Chase and find out that we are trying to keep that alive with the way we work in SICW. But yeah, I know his idea is to get another Larry Matisek's book finished. Larry Matisek has another volumes of DVDs that he was working on at the time. He wants to get those finished. Herb is doing his own book, and so he's trying to get that up and running.
And is he sleeping 1 hour a day?
Probably less than that.
5-minute power.
It's the rest of Bruiser's collection because it's on the old film reels, so he needs to get those converted. So he's got a lot to do. It's going to be crazy in the next couple of years. I was talking to Gary Jackson over the weekend about all the bookings that we have. And I had a promoter reach out to me, and I had to deny all these bookings that they wanted to give me because, like in the month of June, we are booked every weekend, just about every weekend in June. And it's like that for the last 6 months, basically. Because we got the MAC again. We got going to... and now they're all escaping my head, and go figure. The Shriner's place, going back up to where Bill Henson lives. We got all those extra shows coming up.
CACs again.
CAC, and then wrestling.
We're going to add a little double show that I just got approved through the board that I have to talk with her about.
Yeah, so.
Nice.
Breaking news.
So when that happens, we're going to have to bring on some of your Little Devil wrestlers too. Give them a taste.
Well, there's 3 that live with me.
There we go. We'll just take them to the training facility and have them. Well, even at the Little Devils place, we can just record some of the little guys wrestling around. But anyway, yeah, this was supposed to be just a recap, and now here I'm going on and on again. So definitely hit us up this Saturday, Belclair Fairgrounds, TV tape in East Carondelet. That starts at noon. I would tell you to get there probably about 11:30 if you want to get a great seat. And of course, they always serve food there on the TV tapings, and of course, they serve food and cold beer at the show on Saturday. So definitely, if you haven't got your tickets, you can reach out to me. I have a bunch of them. Or sicw.org, or just show up to the fairgrounds, because they'll never return. They'll never shoo away a person. They'll let you in. So yeah, that's my recap. So just come to the show. You have a great time, and then you get the free TV tapings afterwards the next day. But other than that, I'm gonna call it. So for the Big Texan, beautiful Bobby D, and Nasty Nate. From the Squared Ring Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, and let us know how we're doing. But you guys have a great night, and I'll see you Saturday.
See you Saturday.
Adios.